So you remember how strong of a 2020 and 2021 it was for the Czech Republic scene for him on the Sinners side. We haven't seen him be as comfortable here on OG, but it's still a test to Tier 1 and a test to a European squad, and time is going to be valuable here for OG, and perhaps even another win to get them into Legend stage will be even more valuable for them.
Certainly would combine together to set themselves up nicely for the major itself if they can get the victory on the board, and that is the key thing, if they can get the victory. Heroic stand as the final boss of OG in our final match of the week on the B stream in the RMRs. Let's kick it off with a pistol round on Inferno. OG to the CT start. Heroic pressing up in the mid control into second mid for two individuals, not being seen by Nexa here.
You can see that info spot attempt coming through from nexa, just trying to see if he can muster up an idea on what's going to be achieved in this round. Stound's already been able to get up to the half wall. You've got 3 on B very deep here for OG, so it feels as if they want to try and get a bait set up, and because nothing's being presented, they might actually take top banana.
Trying to see if we can find an angle here with the USP. TSS making his way forward now with the long take. Stound catches one, waiting and baiting for that moment. Now degster forced to be sandwiched in alongside Fiku. Heroic attack on 2 fronts to the B side. They'll put bullet hell down towards Dexter's position. Fiku hold his angle here out towards the cross, maybe even for that player. Near frag, meanwhile in the library against cadiaN, and cadiaN puts down a 5 versus 3 now for the Heroic side. Fiku hunting desperately for this kill against Stound, who's just pressuring him, doing damage. 33 HP against the kit carrier, and the kit is down and out of the round. Degster, one of 2 players remaining, does get a trade at last, but it's coming too little too late.
That was magnificent coming through from Heroic, and that is just pure class with manipulating over rotations. They get a pick, they establish CT control, and they slow it right down. They're waiting for the response. They're waiting for the mistake. And Neofrag gets into that library position and just gets overlooked. Just not even in a position where he thinks that there could be someone so up close, and players just start dropping. That crunch down into the B site is so effective, and nexa, there's just nothing that he can do but save onto the Kevlar and think about a force buy next round.
The start Heroic wanted to put themselves up as the dominant force here in this map up. And in this best of 3, pistol gain, Nexa, no choice but to stick around and save the weapon. Save the Kevlar, really. That's the most valuable thing to OG at this moment. The force up, I mean, a little bit supported by it. But Heroic, very confident start.
And we saw only very recently that OG went down under all the way to ESL Challenger Melbourne, had a terrible performance there, losing to Wings Up, one of the Chinese teams in the group stage, and being knocked out when OG were one of the favourites. So just looking to respond and be able to be slightly more positive with their action, because that would have been looked at as a massive disappointment.
That's what I was saying earlier against the tier 2 opposition, right? With that Forza result in mind, with the Wings Up result in mind, it's a bit of a pattern that OG can start to bottle it at times. And Heroic certainly aren't a tier 2 team, so keep your eyes on how much OG will bring to the table in this matchup. Heroic will punish every single mistake, even more so than what Forza and Wings Up could have done themselves. Mac 10's in on 2 individuals at a Heroic buy, of course. Force invest for OG, sees 2 automatics, 1 from us, 1 MP9.
I saw OG playing Inferno as the map 3 decider against Outsiders in their best of 3 to get them to the major, and it was 10 rounds on that CT basis, double digits. So expect a lot of cohesion when it comes to this first half. Heroic trying to see if they can bait out some of this early util. It's a regroup together, which is indicating a B-side XE.
Matches in, Smoke's going to get sent over. All sorts of players being blinded off. Fiku is not one of them. The Eagle fires away, dishing out some damage, not getting the kill. TSS and cadiaN combined. Neofrag dead to the backside. The FAMAS taken out as well. Overwhelming from Heroic. What a great follow-up this has been.
And we saw that for Heroic, they went 3-0 in the last RMR back in Antwerp, getting themselves into that Legend stage, getting that extra leg up to make the playoff run. So something that they're going to be keeping their eyes on. And consider the fact that for OG, it's been the lack of majors, which has been something of very criticalness, trying to get themselves back in. I mean, even for an individual like Valde, played 5 RMRs, 4 OG, did not get a chance of going to the major, went over to the Nth side to see if they could do it, and that's exactly what's happened. So now that OG have already done it, they've broken that barrier.
Not broken Heroic, though. 2-0. Found the T-side line. OG did have the force up around the saved weapon here. A little bit of Kevlar that can support themselves in the next buy round. In the eco base, it's not going to be any major investment here. They're just going to have to stick with it and see what they can do.
We've seen even someone like Exist coming through into a coaching role for a team like Heroic. Hadn't had any coaching experience. He was an analyst for a little bit of time. Obviously an ex-pro, a very strong ex-pro when it comes to majors. And you'd imagine that he'd be able to lean some of that experience down to his individuals in important games like this.
Moving on the banana control here for the Heroic camp. OG. New players in the B side. Degster flashed in. Gets the kill on Yabi. Stown just found the opening frag. cadiaN forcing forward is bailed out by Stown the same. Matt Tenner sjuush silences nexa, and Degster now left to hold on to this AK here to 1 versus 3. Little bit weird round there from Heroic. Maybe a few frags they probably shouldn't have afforded to consider, but well, there it is. 3 AK stay in at the very least for them, and OG now have their guns.
And they make sure that that AK does not stay in play, which is obviously a very impactful entity that could have come through come the next round. And now for OG, focusing on the rifle round, you've got Degster down onto the AWP. We know that he's been consistent over the course of this entire RMR, but still, Flames has been the player to keep an eye out for. And Fiku too, another young man that's been very impressive for the OG team since coming through.
AWP in for Degster now for the OG side. No AWPs for Heroic at this moment. Happy with that here. sjuush caught tagged up early by Flames. Not a lot of damage being done though. Just a quarter HP bar. Now a third taken away. Small start.
Neofrag being forced off with this util. Stown and co trying to act pressure towards the top of the half wall. Dexter's waiting for a jump over or a boost.
Sent in to try and force him forward into actual contact. Fiku's the man to get the kill on Stown. Degster drops the bomb, flashes forward to regain that bomb control, but Degster ain't missing. Yabi finally gets a trade, but the Heroic side have been reduced to 2, and Degster is still standing for more frags. Doesn't get Yabi. The trade is good for him, and the bomb should get planted for that.
Oh, Yabi's thinking about getting aggressive. Very close towards his CT smoke. The reloads come through. He doesn't act. He doesn't go through.
X of damage instead. cadiaN cut him off here at construction. The bomb's going to get picked up and planted, and Yabi's going to do that here at first. Behind the harder cover, so they can't spam him down or go for the nades. The incendiaries will force him into a corner and eventually get him out in the open. Footsteps being heard on that part. cadiaN is still silent. He's still holding for contact. Gets that shot, but nexa gets his teammates, and now he's alone, pinned in a corner, unawares of the second CT, who's also inbound from the construction control. Saw those shots coming in, tried to flick back with a ridiculous angle, didn't quite connect it, and it'll be a first round for OG.
And Neofrag getting the job done, allowing that retake to be successful, and just so much attention being pulled from nexa at the top of Banana made that round crunch time for cadiaN. And Neofrag being able to get the all-important kill. And you and IJ definitely know how much of a strong entity he was for that Sinners side. I mean, there was a conversation for him to be the best, or at least one of the best riflers that Tier 2 had seen in quite a few years.
Keeping with our theme of translating Tier 2 success to a Tier 1 environment.
Just like Fasher, getting that opportunity to move up.
Could be argued that in this case he's already proven it, making it to the major, but just that little extra step. You're a legend. Degster shot down on TeSS. He is lightning quick in these past few rounds. His AWP been very valuable to OG, winning out there first. And if it continues, Heroic are going to have a major challenge ahead of them.
Dexter's putting on a show right now, that's for sure. cadiaN trying to work around the util towards the top of Banana. You can see the flashes off for OG, limit Heroic from any further aggressive approach with a pop into the B side.
Apartment's control could still lean towards A here. Default's just setting for Heroic, not deciding on a site just yet, but with Yabi and sjuush starting to rotate back, start to indicate that B is going to be the play. Of course, to us, the audience, not to OG. They have been without information for the last 10 or 15 seconds.
We know that OG came through the first open qualifier, went down to Falcons in the qualification best of 3, went through in the 5th place decider against Portuguese family, Fox's team.
Oh, I didn't even realize Fox was playing actively until now. Yeah, frag or jump face caught info. Fiku backed up, and Frag finds the face on cadiaN. Fiku adjusts towards Stown. A crossfire is locked. That is confident from OG.
I'm liking what I'm seeing in these last couple of rounds, being very proactive with Degster when it comes to opening man advantages, and then just swing on contacts. AK's being saved. Very disciplined and drilled right now on the CT side of Inferno. This is a positive sign moving forward, considering that this is Heroic's map pick.
They might not have found the start. The full option, the rifle rounds have been pretty effective as of right now. Very proficient stuff we've been seeing there. Maybe a moment's respite here for the heroic camp. Exist getting up, standing up, and maybe giving a bit of an encouraging speech in the early game. OG definitely have beaten heroic out on the confidence basis. You just see how well these rounds have gone, and you can see that they are on it today.
And for OG, being able to watch back and even watch live the series between heroic and Vitality, try and see if they can show any tendencies, anything that they should expect. Nexa will be very familiar with the heroic playstyle, a lot of back and forth head-to-heads when he was there over at G2. Heroic with this broken buy, just trying to make the maximum potential possible.
I imagine at least Nexa and Exist sat down and tried to get through things and figure out exactly what the game plan would be. You mentioned earlier the one team that had the chance to prepare for this match coming into today. Heroic may have taken that 3-hour break or so to maybe look back for some demos and stats and come up with something of their own right. Smokes down, near frag, sprays through, tried to dish out some damage blind, but gets nothing as of right now.
Could be misdirection on just how many players are out towards Banana. Fiku, think about flashing forward. Heroic are gonna go.
Neo frag only gets a single pick. The pistols managed to overwhelm him. Happy there with the AK support. Down sponge the damage now. Here they come into the B site. Fiku behind the smoke, trying to find his angle. And Down gets to the eagle shot. cadiaN's extended all the way out towards the outskirts of the site. Jump face from Flame has seen them. cadiaN gets his kill. Looks for degster as well. And a single AK. But added up towards 2 is now bringing all the rifles together for Heroic. And now nexa in a 1-on-4.
But that's a perfect steal round coming through from Heroic. And just when OG were in the building phase, the idea that you got a couple of rounds in a row, you start getting some leverage, you've got money in the bank, you've got a confident AWP and degster, and you get overwhelmed. You've got Neofrag on that first contact towards the front side of Banana, only gets away with 1, and then Fiku's the next defender. He was the guy out towards Nubox, finds nothing. Degster and Flames get overwhelmed as well. Nexa has to hold on to the M4. I love that aggressive approach coming through from cadiaN. Get up close and personal in that construction angle and just disciplined in for a couple of kills.
Heroic stave off the equalization from OG with a decent, confident round of their own, right? I mean, you want to one-up confidence on the rifles, you get a similar sort of round with just the pistols. Again, hero rifle sets up there, converting in towards many different rifles. cadiaN, especially with the 2K, wasn't even the guy that had the AK at the start of the round. Guns come back from OG, M4s on 3 or 4. AWP for degster. At least there's a reinvestment for now.
Early nades going down towards the bottom of Banana, but look at the way that Stounce just baited that forward, just played back passive, allowed himself to waste that util. Neofrag trying to see if he can spam, put some pressure on.
A lot of util trade down here towards Banana. Neofrag's just sat back behind the stack, and now TeSeS engaging degster. Only lands the leg shot, not quite the kill. He spammed down, but that HE should, and I say should because TeSeS is not finished off. He gets out of the way in time.
Now they've boosted up Neofrag here towards the new box area, and they can have Fiku as a slight distraction, a slight bait. Think about setting up some of the retaking nades towards that top of Banana position. Heroic have been offered a lot of space to be taken in round 7. And even Yabby's down towards 50 now, so OG can be very happy with the damage they've applied. They've just got to turn it into kills now.
Very similar HP bars across the board here. Heroic with a low HP player in TeSeS. OG with 1 on degster, half HP for Yabby, similar for Neofrag. Now Neofrag receives the pressure alongside Fiku. Incendiaries block them out of the sight. That stalls Heroic for the time being, but as soon as it clears, they'll make their way in, and backup is slow to rotate for OG.
So much B influence from Heroic in this first half, and once again, it comes through with the trade quickly. Fiku can't find anything, and maybe YJ. Maybe this is the reason to why we're seeing so much action towards B. They're spotting a weakness in the B anchors. Fiku and Neofrag are not putting up numbers right now.
That's in spite of Neofrag matching degster, the top fragger of his team. But Heroic are outpacing both of those players on Stown, cadiaN. Stown particularly been pivotal to these entries in this particular round, and you saw what cadiaN did in the previous one there. OG 3 players towards the A site, didn't want to rotate until they absolutely had to, and when they had to, it was already too late. They go for the early save call. Heroic go for the early hunt call. They know what OG are doing here, but the question is, how many can they find in this exchange? They've got money so they can rebuy. Not a massive amount, though. sjuush gets nexa. Perfect shot from degster. Does connect towards Yabi. Flames is pressured. Gets the kill on sjuush. So 2 players per side maintained. The damage was done to OG there.
And you can't point too many fingers at Flames and say, we expect more. He's only down 1 kill there on an exit and 4 deaths, because he has been the A player, and a lot of the time he's been rotating over when the round's nearly done. I think we need to address a different protocol here for OG on how they want to play B, whether they need the AWP with them of degster, or perhaps they need to work out where they need to position themselves, because we are seeing Heroic hit the B site quite a lot. There has not been much intent towards A at all.
Might be a case of bolstering up that B plane, putting degster out there. You saw what he could do when he was posted up towards that banana angle, even though the passive positions at banana. OG took a tactical to discuss that very possibility. See what they do. Again, it just seems to be Fiku, or Neofrag and Fiku, ready to receive on the B defensive. It is pistols out for both those individuals. Broken half by here for OG. At least they have the AWP on degster. It's not much.
You can imagine that he gets slightly more aggressive in this round, just knowing the basis that the weaponry isn't great. Peak for information, shoulder's been seen. Orb's pretty much gone now.
TeSS is allowed to gain access to the bedrooms as a result. We'll try to spam him down with the wall bangs, but degster knows that he can't stick around there. Escapes out. Through boiler onto short. Taking around the back of the A site to try and hold the long control. But meanwhile, Stown starts prodding out to the B site. He is the lurk play, Neofrag. And Fiku backs up by Flames here. Neofrag is dead. Perfect shoulder spot, and Stown backs out.
Stown just with the impact and the drive, the distraction away, try and get back out to safety. Flames trying to see if he can lean into the kill. He still goes down to 19 points of HP when you thought that fight was going to be easy.
Stown making as much magic as possible. Now nexa holding alongside degster. Pin flashes over, leans forward. Nexa holds, TeSS gets caught. Advantage gain doubled up by the AWP as degster continues to prove the point. Only gets a double for it though. cadiaN backing around when the AK picked up. Did spot the player over at box, but is unaware of the second man on the site. Now has seen them both, but can't get either of the kills.
And I think we've got to think about the idea of where the success is going to come from OG, whether it come from this map or in the entire series, and I think it might just be degster. He looks to be the difference maker here for the international squad. A lot of impact, a lot of multi-frags, and for Flames, he obviously sets them up. He's able to get a pick out there towards the B side. He's able to drive the attention back into A. The MP9 takes that first contact, and then degster's there just to farm up.
It's clear to me that they have their priorities set with that AWP. And degster is hungry as hell to get this match, to take that spot at the legend stage. But the way he's playing right now, not just top fragging for his team, one behind the actual top fragger is down, but also just how quick he's reacting to the eye test. Looks so great. He is forced up by that flashbang at least, so Heroic aren't up against the completely flawless AWP. They have to force these mistakes out from him.
Neofrag holding to the top of the banana, a little bit more aggressive than what we've seen previously. Heroic showing more of an indication on a brackets take. Try and put pressure down onto the AWP, who's always been playing in library or moto on the defaults. Waiting for a reaction. They slow it right down. They're hoping for an overpeak.
They won't get one, it seems. One CT backing off in degster back towards Speedway and Fountain Angle to watch out. AWP just confidently holding as Stown makes noise out to banana. Could still be a lurk. Again, OG caught him off and recognized that nobody was out there, so they won't overcommit towards the B site just yet. That's the right call to make.
It's all about trying to cut the rotates, try and manipulate those rotations. Even the AWP could be trapped outside.
Gets TeSS regardless, double up against Yabi. sjuush up close and personal with degster. Isn't missing a shot until cadiaN faces him. And still he gets the quick scope. This guy's just on fire. He's just on absolute fire right now. And OG powering their whole CT side with the Flames.
It comes down to the setup there of Heroic smoking off Library, trying to reposition the AWPer, and they would have known that he would have been around long somewhere, so they tried splitting towards City Spawn. They've got Stown as that lurk towards the top of Banana, so it is a crunch down split into B, but they just cannot trade out degster. So much success with the slight strafes to the left, allows himself to multi-frag and to get himself up to 12 kills now.
Now down to pistols for Heroic, thanks to his efforts. TSS trying to force forward, and Fiku says, no thanks. Kills on double, nades back, Heroic suppressed.
And we know that even on Inferno, degster doesn't always have the best of numbers. Only averages a 1.07 rating in the last 3 months across 5 maps played. One of the weaker maps in the pool from him. So to see him at this sort of height is a wonderful sight moving forward.
Got the tag on Katie with that head peeking out above the half wall. Frag assisting degster, who even gets a kill in even this round. Around that corner for the AK and the rifle. Picks up the final one. 5 all to the board. Heroic and OG have been going pretty nicely blow for blow. Yes, streaky blow for blow. But even standing nonetheless here.
OG containing themselves quite well. You'd imagine for a squad that's just qualified to the major, they're going to be quite happy about that. Flames never been to a major before. Neofrag the same. Fiku's even making his RMR debut, let alone qualifying to the major. So to get that next step up the chain and to get the legend status could be a big ticket on top.
Still a lot of work to be done here to get to that point, though. Again, tough match for both sides, and OG are making the point proven. Heroic not going to be as breezy, but at least from my perspective, they don't look like they're in a dire position. Again, I had my doubts as whether or not Heroic would be as on form in this best of 3, considering they had to play a little bit earlier on today. Remember, it was a hellacious match they played against Vitality at certain points, having to go to overtime and all. So far, so good from both sides. AWPs in for degster, not for Heroic. And Mach 10 on Stown is the limiting factor.
So a slight change up here for OG. Not only do they bring 3 towards Banana early rounds, but they actually try and take it. They've left the AWP there and actually rotated Neofrag back out to the long control to establish a crossfire with Flames. Fiku and degster. They could probably just leave the AWP towards Car and allow Fiku to be aggressive to the logs.
Good versatility here from OG. The fact that they can rotate a player so confidently away and just hold degster down to try and block off this B site. You mentioned they had to adjust something here. Heroic time after time. Very confident with these Banana takes and these B hits. Fiku and degster will hold down the 2-for-1. They do lose Fiku. Dexter's caught off by Yabi though, so that AWP not infallible. 3 on 3. Flames are very quickly into position here ahead of the smokes, but he does fall back.
Massively overconfident there from the AWPer. Degster could have just fallen back, taken that first shot, retreated to safety, at least set himself up for another, and that double dip could have cost him.
Peeking from Yabi, ready to receive the next player back out towards Banana. It's Neofrag, nades on towards him. Yabi forced back. At 3 HP to the follow-up HE as well. Flash is coming in, Flames tanks that nade, but leans in against such low HP on the T-side line, but still cadiaN gets the kill. TSS hiding away at Coffins. 2 standing for OG, and just the time's tick too far for them to get the retake. The best they're looking for is exit frags, which Nexa and Neofrag will stick around for. TSS caught, that's 1 pick. 2 more out towards CT though. Yabi down, cadiaN will also look to try and drop. Nexa goes up with the bomb, but at least he takes the last T-side player with him.
And that's not going to help the money situation at all there from Heroic. The Danes in a tricky position now towards the tail end of the first half of keeping these buys forward. You can just feel for a moment there if degster, was this the right play? Overextending towards that top of Banana half wall. Heroic get the lead back, but for how long? How quick is the response from OG?
Work in towards the mid control to try to see if Heroic can continue the momentum. Degster, his force already into the mid. Fast play, that's towards Banana. Neofrag needs to hold strong, and he lines up so many players. Does a ton of damage to TSS, but it's a 1-for-1 trade in the 4-on-4. The CTs are forced to counter-rotate. Flames back here towards the B site, joining up with Fiku on the crossfire.
I think they've got to be happy with the damage that's been done. Yes, it's only a single kill for Neofrag, but it's setting it up for the round. HE placement from Flames is close towards the top of Banana. Doesn't actually do a massive amount of damage onto Yabby.
cadiaN got out of the way. I think Yabby was back behind the stack, so I think he was covered off to that HE's position. Boost up, hoping for players to make their way forward on the CT basis. That's not quite happening at the moment. OG back passive on B.
Got Tessus as a lurk, but on 3 points of health, you can't imagine that he's going to find much than spot for information. B-side XE does not have any mollies. It's only a few smokes here for Heroic, and it comes down to the flash assist. That's what they need to be able to really siphon off a strong entry.
cadiaN setting up to send it. Fika ready with that counter flash you mentioned. Smoke onto the stairs angle of the site. So Fika's going to cancel here. Back with smoke down towards the cross. Now flashbang coming over for the T sideline. He's going to wait for the engagement rather than anything else. Smoke down from the CT, forces in a new box. cadiaN tapped the bomb once and falls back away. Rotations being brought back from the third man. Meanwhile, Nexa stands on the A side with a kill against Tessus. 13 seconds. Heroic going to be stalled. The crossfire's locked, and the call came in far too late for them. Stound's going to get isolated. I don't think he'll get taken down here. It will be OG equalizing once again.
But just looking for that exit damage, and that was a complicated round, to say the least, there from Heroic. Very similar vibes to what Furia was kind of famous of getting the bomb down in the lurk smoke there from the first oranges, and to force over-rotates before rotating the bomb back to A. The issue is, the CTs on A, mate, they aren't moving. They are not rotating off, and because you're not able to find the instant success on that rotate away, you end up just saving. The time's just not there. You haven't been able to bait enough forward, and OG, with the passiveness on B, allow themselves to tie it up again.
Broken buy-in for Heroic around the save call as well. Only pistols for Tessus and sjuush. Was force buying around the weapons that had to stay in, and the money being wrecked on those players as well. Look at how close Neofrag's going to get. There's a scap in that smoke that he can abuse. Gets down to drop. cadiaN tried to find a follow-up and pass that AK back to a similar player, so they can have those 3 left in for Heroic. But OG have the man advantage.
Trying to play anti-flash on the top of the half wall. Heroic is starting to put more influence out here towards the brackets control. And for degster, if he's not smoked off, he will be able to find contact immediately.
So ready for it as well. The AWP posted. Holding his position with OG. Again with counter-utility at the ready. Flashes in against degster. The shot is baited. He misses the first kill. Second flash also well placed towards the short position. Tessus actually gets degster as he gets caught up on the pillar. So mistake made for the AWP. Now there's 4 rifles in for Heroic. And a 4-on-4 situation as well.
Brilliant utility. Just saw how great those flashes were to force him off the angle. And now to try and set up the AWP and this rifle of what is capable, this could actually be an incredibly deadly round from Heroic.
sjuush and Yabby walking forward. M4 of Nexa stands to receive. Burst through. sjuush. Kill found. Flashes forward. Nexa damaged up as Yabby makes his way in. And Nexa continues to face forward. Nexa tagged up. Yabby killed off. 2's 1 left standing here for Heroic. It's all on cadiaN as the crossfire from OG locks out the backstab as well as the forward defensive. Wonderful stuff from them. When they look good, they look so damn confident here.
Well, it comes down to opening picks, and gathering information is a strong point. I think you've got a very consistent anchor players of OG when you think about Flames. That's going to be always down in pit. You're going to have Nexa in the mid side. So just having your in-game leader addressing a lot of that information, trying to have degster as one of those swing AWPers that can reposition quite a lot. You saw him playing long in the last round. Now he's going for an opening pick at the half wall.
degster straight in, flashes, received, incendiary sense, down, caught. A little bit high pressure there from the CT side, Flames. As Yabby does get caught off by that deagle, so Tessus with a sneaky instinct of his own right. But Nexa now there in control in the mid position. 3 kills to his name. A little bit scary at times for OG, but only 1 casualty makes it another confident round for them, and the half gain on the CT side.
Inferno was one of those maps that they lost to the Chinese side of Wings Up back in ESL Challenger Melbourne, the Chinese map pick. We saw 9 rounds on the City side from the side of OG, went into the second half and only managed 4 on the T side. So you do wonder to yourself, Jay, what's going to change between that event and now the RMR, and what tendencies and mistakes that were learnt on their T side can be improved upon?
Turn of the half inbound here for the next one. AWP's in on Degster and Neofrag. Double up set up for OG. No warps for Heroic. Standard AK is in to try and make it a 7th at the turn of the half. OG really want that 9-6 half themselves.
Could be an apps pop setup coming through from Heroic. You've got a re-smoke coming through from Nexa. You've got Degster on the short angle with the AWP. This is something different, something that Heroic have not faced yet.
Still playing out the default pretty passively though. Smoke's being sent towards this long position. Down at Moto, suppressing players that are in library. Fortunately, Flames is set towards that short pillar. Archway is where he'll hold. Meanwhile, Nexa just holding alongside Degster on the short and apartments position, waiting for Heroic to make that move.
It's all about the flashes and trying to get that molly down towards either Porch or towards Pit. Degster has to try and fight.
What he does, first kill found, no more than that. sjuush catching him with a very quick trade. Stown caught to 50 points of health by the HE of Flame. Allowing him to walk up towards long, but still finds that pick back. Meanwhile, Yabby acting out of the apartments. Nexa now alone, but backup is quick to rotate. He needs to stand and fight for the time being. Get at least back to the man advantage. You can't quite do it. sjuush puts him out of commission. Fiku chases down one. Damage has been done to all 3 players of Heroic, but they hold the man advantage here.
Now Yabby could just count on the information. You can see the way that sjuush is out. And now for OG, it's whether they can force Yabby into the open.
They can force cadiaN into the open as well. Both players inbound from apartments. Yabby gets the diffuser. And Fiku now left alone for the 3K clutch. Gets that headshot, nice and effective. Whereas the second man in the exact same position in cadiaN will make it a close half affair. It's been a really good matchup from both teams. Back and forth with a single round up for OG.
And you've got to imagine now for Heroic going into the second half, that's where they can strengthen. And we'll find out after the break.
No easy affairs for Heroic at this stage. Another close affair on Inferno thus far. An 8-7 half, even better by OG than what Vitality posted up a little bit earlier on today, Dwayne.
You've got to consider the fact that Heroic were down 4-10 at a single point in their T side on the first half of Inferno. And look at what ended up happening. Heroic were on the back foot. They came back into it. They forced it all the way to overtime. Yes, the map didn't go in their fashion and it had to go to a third. But this has been a strong and competitive half from Heroic, which should set them up in the second.
Looking into this map, of course, Heroic love to try and carry it away from here on the CT basis. A pistol and a confident one to lock out OG. Completely fantastic to them with this crossfire. 3 players set towards brackets, and that looks to be where OG are going to make their way in from. I say that, and that bomb actually made its way into apartments, transitioning up there. Pop flash in, sjuush has hit the players coming out of the gates. degster has caught Yabi on the kills. They turn their attention away from the actually primary plant position. cadiaN able to get the man advantage back to a 4-on-4 as the bomb will go down.
Nexa is going to be set up late round to try and hope that the CTs can come in from short and from the apartments, and he'll be able to set up that backstab. Heroic has still got nades on Tessus.
Taps of cadiaN not quite landing on the next face. Flames close. Nexa ready. sjuush backing up. cadiaN caught off. sjuush gets both those headshots. Nexa and Fiku. Now just Nexa alone. Caught out position. Backstab being attempted, but that bomb's been planted towards the back corner. So now that he reveals himself, they'll get on the defuse. They'll win this pistol round pretty effectively. Even stand with a TK to make it a little bit closer for OG, but not enough to try and deny the pistol round for Heroic.
What a beautiful sequence coming through from sjuush. When you look at that from OG's perspective, you've got the bomb down on A, you've got some decent post plants, you've got Nexa as a very late backstabbing individual in the apartments. Things look very positive, and instead, it just gets out of control super quickly. sjuush starts coming through, looking down brackets, looking into boiler, down onto the short play into pit, and just starts ripping kill after kill. The influence going in and eventually just getting onto that bomb, allowing Heroic to win the round. Now, OG are going to force it up because of the damage that they did and, of course, the bomb plant bonus.
OG getting 2 Galils out of this one, though. Lost a lot of money in that particular round. Scouting alongside the Eagles being the weakened weapons, of course. There's the fully automatics from Heroic, but only 1 M4 for cadiaN to try and handle it. Down 1 of 4 SMGs, just jump facing, looking into banana.
You can imagine here for Heroic just holding on to as many of those nades late rounds and keeping those MP9s up close. The last thing you want to do is offer up long ranges. Try and hold some advantageous positions down, thinking about consistently applying that pressure with the re-smoke that can go down to the bottom of banana. They're going to hold 4 and A in the meanwhile.
Jumps from Stown. Trying to look for contact, just trying to look for a kill somehow, somewhere. Smokes at the ready. As soon as he sees one, he'll pop that out. He's not extending against degster, though.
This is already a very good read coming through from Heroic. You've got a re-smoke down at 40 seconds, and look at the rotates that have come over. There's now 3 to defend up this B site. OG are running straight into the stack.
Flashes in and make their way around the outside. Stown still tries to stand and fight, but Flames gets that kill. Now cadiaN and Yabi on the defensive line, losing their forward contact, and now to hold the back. 18 seconds. Heroic has still stopped this at a very nice hurdle and dropped the bomb at the right moment. cadiaN and Yabi with those 2 kills, and now sjuush charges forward with Tessus in the back, gets the backstab and gets the follow-up round for Heroic.
And that's got to be thoroughly frustrating for a team like OG. You've been able to take the banana control, you've got a flash past the half wall, you've dealt with the further forward individual. Now you're acting towards a B-site XE, you're thinking, okay, we can get the bomb down, we can set ourselves up for the post plant, but it's the lack of information. It's the stack play there from Heroic that sets it up so nicely. You've got Yabi towards the top of first oranges, you've got cadiaN pulling distraction away, and between the 2 of them, and of course the backstab that came down mid into the bottom of banana, they just crunched.
Heroic up against the pistols now for their own right to try and extend this lead even further. OG giving away crucial info. sjuush has found a nice little angle to play with. I'm really worried about the big play though. Fiku caught. Just very awkward against Nexa, so not quite checking all of his angles. A sacrificial SMG though, he can sacrifice that to a 4-on-4. Tessus can continue to hold his own position in the apartments.
I don't mind this for Heroic. You want to be on the forward facing. You've got an SMG, so you use it to its most potential. You know you're going to be up against a very light eco, so try and farm up some cash. You're not going to be up against any Kevlar. It does only come away with one, but you can see the way that Tessus has now backed off, realizing it's not worth to continue to fight. Vertical crossfire out here on B. Does get a dink off, but it's still a kill.
Advantage sits with Heroic. Okay, that's all right. I don't know where their Flames of the drive-by shot. 3-on-3 situation. Tessus knows that he's close, and Degster's Deagle gets a little bit dangerous against Down. The low HP individual still dead to the hands of the air. Galil. Nexa's SMG comes up to a 2-on-2, so bomb can commit, get planted. The money bonus will be pretty positive here for the OG side, but both individuals going to burn, get gooshed up in the case of Flames. And the retake will be on for Heroic.
cadiaN trying to see if he can set himself up with that extra piece of util. They've got another incendiary to try and see if they can force players out to the open.
Both held at default, but they've actually made their way back into the apartments. Second one back to the back boxes. Down makes his way up. Nexa's caught the kill. Now this becomes doable here for OG. 3 kills for Nexa, and cadiaN looks like he's going to look for exits and the save. Wow. OG doing real work. Flames and Nexa especially. Flames with the good shots. Nexa with just a volume of shots. That's 9-all to the board.
Massive. That is a huge steal round coming through from OG. Now, cadiaN should just be able to hold on to that M4. Oh, there might have been one player going down to the bomb actually there for OG.
Yeah,
so it's kept the money a little bit more limited. But when you consider what was actually invested into that round, a couple of upgraded pistols, no Kevlar, that is such a steal. And Heroic have got to be kicking themselves.
What a shot. That was so sick from Flames. I think he was the man that went up with the bomb as well. But you are right. Not a lot was invested into that round, so OG can get the full guns out. 1 M4 safe for Nexa. AWP in for Degster. No such luck here for Heroic. They've been whittled down the economy state in these last couple of rounds. OG have made it expensive to the point where they've just got a 5-7 on Tessus alongside the rest of the M4s here for Heroic. OG up into the apartments default.
Shush. All about the timing on that resmoke. OG trying to get themselves set up for the apps pop. They might have to cancel. They can't go off the back of that resmoke now.
Minute and 15, and they hold their nerve. They wait on the T side. Abby and Stown. Tessus, the incendiary in his hand, to try to stop the execution towards that B side. But OG, again, they aren't going there. Very successful for them so far in the very few rounds we've seen in this half. Can't quite force any frags out just yet. Just smokes to suppress before the hit comes in.
This could be a good distraction that cadiaN's pulling away from that balcony position of where sjuush is lined up from. Another flash, HE placement could be good.
The frag tagged quite heavily for it. Flames caught a bit of that himself. Smokes, flashes, inbound. Fiku making his move in. Flashes will keep players blinded at the very least, so OG will not be allowed flawless entries into the site. sjuush now bursting. cadiaN sprays through, gets his kill. Fiku takes him back. sjuush at mini pit can't hold on forever. 4-on-3, and that should be a safe call now for Heroic.
They have to try and get back over to that bomb, try and evade as many of those spam bullets as possible. Heroic aren't that keen on it, so look for exits, try and see what else presents itself. But a lead back for OG, and when you consider the idea that this has been quite a back and forth affair, it has been quite competitive for both teams, and that this is Heroic's map pick, OG could be in a driving position to try and upset the first map of the series.
Speaking of upsets, there are none over on the mainstream. Sangul fell to Mouse, who have now confirmed themselves at IEM Road. They're underdogs leg.
No, I was just thinking because they had it close because they lost their map pick, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a 2-1, 16-12 at the last map of the series.
It's quite close, okay. That's
they gave
huge.
it a good fight.
Yeah, knowing that Sangul had even had players that had never even been to LAN before, let alone on this sort of scale, that's a great result, even if it's not a win.
One more team, of course, to decide in the round 5 games between Outsiders and Falcons over on the mainstream if you're interested.
Oh, is that going down now?
Second. It'll be going down in about 25 minutes or so. So just setting up that situation.
Get the split screen ready.
Yeah. If you've got double monitors, bring up on the other monitor. But don't tune out from us, you know.
Yeah, put us on the bigger one.
Yeah, exactly. primary monitors for the B stream, boys.
Yeah.
Particularly because OG are feeling a bit pressured right now. Heroic have stood against whatever they can. They're behind by a single round, and the guns can come through against these saved rifles. It's still limited for them. OG ahead by a single round so far. But the way this game has gone, it really could swing either way at this stage. They have been so close to each other.
And nexa's putting on a very deep performance when it comes to impact in the second half, especially. degster's getting a little bit more support around him when it comes to some of the numbers. Hoping for an aggressive play to come down from mid. It will happen, but cadiaN strikes out first. Sound's not there onto Fiku, though.
Responsive 4-on-4. neofrag trading and bursting and spraying through that smoke. Felt like he had the right lineup on tess, but didn't get any damage to the neighbor stone out. Out towards the mid position, flashes in against Flames. Stopping OG from really pressing the issue right now. Heroic lost a key rifle. Now got a rest on this scout to try and do some damage for cadiaN. Shot does not connect. He's forced to fall back.
And now even sjuush. What's he made of? 5-7 in the site. Needs some assistance from cadiaN, but it's just not coming.
One of the best 5-7 plays we've seen this RMR. And flashed out, still gets Flames. That's one decent kill. Headshots to line up against neofrag. It's about to happen, isn't it? No, nexa holds his nerve, as does Fiku. But Yabi set up for the 1v2. Tag to 19, nexa on 28. One-on-one scenario, 2K clutch for the winner of this one. The bomb's gone down for the OG side.
And now it's just time stalling. And you've got to imagine nexa and his experience is going to come up massively in this one-on-one clutch. And it gets so silent. Yabi's expecting some aggression.
Nexa's fallen away. Bomb in his sights, I believe. I think it might have been plotted away from the back corner. So in theory, Yabi could stick the whole defuse from here. 10 seconds to it, though. Needs a kit. He hasn't got one. Dead to nexa. Wins it. Wonderfully played. Patiently played. 11-9 now to the T side.
And nexa stepping up when it matters most, and even for him, this is like a new challenge for him. Moved over from G2 over to this OG lineup on the 23rd of January. Been a part of the team for coming up to nearly a year now. And the first goal would have had to have been qualify for the major. And the second one, now that that's been done, is qualify for the legend stage. sjuush trying his absolute best. Unfortunately, there's even a bit of a flash into the mix there that doesn't work out massively for him to reposition, but nexa coming out. And a 2-round differential when money's not ideal. This is going to have to be another eco for Heroic.
Or is it? Sounds
might be a half.
Hero investment, perhaps. It looks like the B. Yeah, and not everyone's looking for the force buy here. Only another bit of Kevlar for cadiaN. So hero rifle set up. What can Stown do with this?
But they obviously need to set him up. They've got quite a bit of util around him, and it's aggressive. It's down from mid, and there's the opener straight away.
Not quite as much setup, more than just adjusted to the right headshot here, made in the flashes. Taking very minimal damage here. Heading back out towards the banana control. neofrag trying to hunt him. Got tess up on the first boost, and not detected by OG because they haven't wrapped around this corner just yet. Sprays through from neofrag, hoping he can catch some sort of lucky kill behind the smoke. Nothing really is going to go his way at this stage, though. Forced to back off and join his teammates in mid.
What a timing that is. Just when you had neofrag from the logs position, holding down the angle, Stown's able to aggress forward. So that's good information from OG, knowing that that rifle is relocated over. So it could give them more of an information play to Shen's presence into A, just because of the rifle being on B.
Be nervy about the rest of the force buy, though. Of course, Heroic don't have one. Be in the back of their minds. Do they have another rifle, another automatic that we might have to be wary of? 45 seconds. OG pressing on into mid. Yabi's 5-7 combined with sjuush's deagle will be the defensive elements.
Very slow. And this is a good-looking crossfire. sjuush is looking up to the apartments, but needs to look back down short.
Frag tagged. Now it's the deagle. Caught off in the center of the site, I believe seen there by Fiku. Molotov sent with flashes going over. Back up is quickly here for Heroic. Deagle shot against neofrag gets him. degster quick to respond to the 3-on-3.
M4's coming in quickly from that brackets position. Heroic are going to try their hand at this.
Back, spray through. Not quite a kill. Stown actually turns that M4 into a double up at last. Fiku trying to challenge him. Next, trying to look around that corner. 3-on-2 still for Heroic. They have the numbers game, but the firepower isn't there, but their kills certainly are. cadiaN and Stown find their frags as appropriate, and that will be recovered rifles for a steal on Heroic's part.
That's payback. Just when OG get a steal, Heroic do one onto them, and I'm surprised in how many of these steal rounds we're seeing here in the very first portion of this best of 3 on map 1. You'd maybe expect more of it to be in the previous best of 3 that we had of Cloud9 versus Spirit, but no, not to be. OG will be thoroughly disappointed with that one. Hero M4 onto Stown made so much of a difference in that round.
One round to the good for OG still. Heroic have been within this margin for a while, and like this entire matchup has been a single round to separate. In that general parameter, Heroic now can start to take us back to evens, equalize against OG. That single AK is all they have.
Can they muster up something to get degster involved? We know how disciplined he was with that AWP and how deadly he was as well. Yabi receiving a cross smoke to go down towards that brackets position, and cadiaN's trying to press as well.
Flash in, Yabi. Swing, gets the headshot on Flames, but degster so quick to respond with that AK. Hero rifle work for Heroic, no reason why it can't do for OG. 4-on-4 for the time being. They back off the back of that exchange.
Keep an eye on nexa. He's actually hanging back from the bottom of Banana, trying to see if he can pull Stown aggressively. If that's the case, B's open.
And spray through, gets a responsive from degster's part. TSS keeping us at evens, but now Fiku has dropped the ball. degster fighting to get it back. He's doing such a great job with this AK, but he is taken away from the action. Now nexa just in the 1 versus 2. Bomb has been dropped, and I think sjuush should start to recognize that. It's out on the outside of the corner. Now Stan will lean in. Nexa has regained the AK. Now being seen. Pick up that bomb. sjuush will just try stall for time. Wait for his teammate to get back here. The flashbang comes in perfect. And the kill is found solid. 11 apiece. OG back on the bye.
I think both teams would be happy at that round. For Heroic's point of view, it's not a complete loss of everything. You still keep 2 players alive. You get yourself back to 11-11. You start initiating a comeback on your CT side. And then from OG's point of view, we didn't invest much. We had a hero AK down on degster. We're not getting a bomb plant, but we're keeping the economy low. And it shows that there could be counteraction. You've got Yabi, Tessus, cadiaN, sjuush all down on very little money. It's only Stown that's got funds.
Money might be a major concern going forward for Heroic OG, especially if they reset right here. At this late stage of the game, this could end up leaning to them mounting up potential for the map victory. The time being, it is just the default setting, both sides trading blows when it comes to the utility and the map control. Heroic going to back out of Banana so OG can start the walk up.
And this is where we've got to see more from Flames. Knowing that you're the 5th highest rated player in this entire RMR, you can give him more of an understanding in the first half, considering he was the A-site player. But here in the second, we need to see more from him if OG want to find continuous success.
Incendiaries are just driving back OG. Sit pretty inside of their defaults. Incendiary sent. Press on. Stown gets tagged up. Neofrag returns. 5-on-5 situation. Heroic on the set for the A defensive. Only 2 players here.
cadiaN's actually walked into the site from this moto angle with the AWP. sjuush has seen nothing. Oh, that's misdirection though.
Away from the apartments as the player starts to walk up, still turned in towards Fiku. That's a kill. cadiaN Orb on site. Heroic on the rotations as well. Taps to the USP. sjuush able to hold out against Flames. Yabi gets a headshot before he falls. Instant trades from nexa and degster, but TSS makes his way in. nexa caught towards the outside. Gets that one. Kills Stown. Inbound from the short control from brackets. Comes up with a lead for Heroic at last.
That was a masterclass coming through from Heroic on what they can do to pull the distraction. You can see in that round, sjuush is able to bring a lot to the apartment. You've got cadiaN back there on the site with the AWP. He's having a bit of a struggle, but sjuush is able to get a couple of kills, and then look at those rotates. Those B players just start flying into the site, don't they? They start going through the moto smoke because they know the more distraction they pull, the longer cadiaN gets to stay alive, and the more impact he can find on the side.
OG looking for impact here in round 24. Deco in for the T side. AWP was leaning in for KD and saw that shot and was like, I want nothing to do with that. Not when you can take my head off so easily. Against these pistols. But they are just pistols v rifles. Heroic know that. SMG and Vitesse will be the forward man at Banana.
And you've got to think here, Vitesse start getting money to bolster up, because again, that conversation, both teams looking for that swing round, looking for that reset. Heroic have known that even OG can get a couple of steals here or there. You don't want to offer up much to these Deagles at all. And for Heroic, you wonder, can this streak turn into enough to close this map without dropping another?
Gonna get a much more significant lead here above OG to do that. Mentioned that the crew the CT side was earlier against this Vitality team. Not quite been as fantastic this time around against OG. Stown finally kicks things off near frag, first of all.
cadiaN slightly wider up onto the long position, deals with the first, and can now just continue to fall back.
Just nexa to suppress in the last 30 seconds. OG walk forward towards this A site at this stage. sjuush has caught Fiku, the AWP caning against degster. And from here, the bomb carrier in the apartments will not fall to the triple of cadiaN. Tessa steals it instead for at least one frag on their SMG. But all 5 players alive for Heroic. The money starts to build. The basis and the foundations of a decent economy has been set. And now it comes to the tactical. A moment's respite, a pause taken to figure out the rest of the game plan. We are approaching the end of Inferno. And it's still completely up in the air in my money.
Have a chat with Ruger, one of the ex-coaches of Dignitas North and Optic. And funny enough, he actually coached some of the Heroic guys on those Danish lineups. So a little bit of rivalry from him to try and see if he can get the upper hand against Heroic in this sort of series. Use some of his expertise to think about what the difference could be, how they're going to be able to end this streak. Because it has been 4 in a row, and there's only been 1 bomb plant in those 4 rounds. They haven't been that competitive.
Heroic have locked them out here to gain this lead. Now to extend it just a little bit further. Degsters flashes in towards the mid-control. cadiaN looks down into Banana here. Uncontested on the directive engagement. Heroic and OG playing against their line.
Yeah, they're not keen on Banana at all. Now, I wonder about the Krieg purchase as well for degster. I guess he's in a position where, because it is quite long range down there at Underpass, he can give himself that range advantage that the Krieg does have with the scope. Yabi up to Keo. We haven't seen anyone on the city side playing this position.
Bearing down upon the boiler control, Flames and Fiku. Mid their way in with a crossfire. That incendiary. Don't think it landed where they wanted it to. No, it didn't force out quad. Was they ever try and push up to the walls of the roof? You're covered. Yabi just waiting with the M4. 60 seconds left. It's still OG. Don't press.
A lot of util used, and even Yabi is just spotting a single individual. This could be a good information play, getting the idea that it might be a lurk or at least a wraparound. You can see the rotates coming through from City Spawn. Tessus is moving over, and Stown can do the same.
2 players on the way. 3 to bolster up B. Right call, right time. OG stacking their way forward for the execution here.
And that's about stalling potential. cadiaN has to find that opener with the AWP and then fall back to safety.
He holds, flash misses, nexa, dead as a dodo. Stown with a spray through, cadiaN also locks out a secondary, pick back, the flick's not there, but Stown's spray is, and that is confident as anything for Heroic at the right time as well. Tail end of the map for 14 to 11, and OG need another tactical pause to find out how to break it, else they'll lose map 1.
Feels like they're running out of steam, doesn't it, Jay? Feels like it was competitive in the first half, it was competitive at the start of the second. But these last handful of rounds have been anything but that. They've been completely the opposite. And after you've just taken a tactical, you can just think about, okay, let's settle, let's refresh, let's go back in, and that happens. You've got cadiaN getting a multi-frag on the contact at B. You've got the support in from the rotates, and Heroic are reading the game very well on their city side. They're stacking up bomb sites correctly. And OG are just not finding the wiggle room to crack a site open. That's been the struggle, is actually getting the bomb down on the site.
You mentioned that over the course of the rounds they've won, no bomb plants for OG, and you can see what it's done to the economy state here. They're going to half by around 26. and look to try deny the map victory, go to overtime. That's going to be a tough task and a half for the OG side. Double nades on Stand as a decent start for the utility, and one HG does return some fire, but OG quick into Banana will look to try go for a quick execution as well.
And this is well read though. You've already got a fourth player on the rotate.
Flashbang catches players in the open though. Tekka's going to get overwhelmed. Yabby holds down a CT cross only for a moment. Neo frag dealt with by Stown, who continues his spray. Not quite 3k. Kaden's got a P250, but running right into the hands of Nexa, who will get that spray back to a one-on-one. Bombs on site. It's onto the clutch here.
Nexa, we've seen him in these positions before. We know how strong he can be in clutches.
Smoke down a CT and almost won the fight against sjuush. But it's silence on the B site for map point for Heroic.
Bloody hell, that's a close one, isn't it? When you consider the idea that that's just an eco, the trading game is good, the pace and the acceleration is lovely, and then you get a dink off. You get him down to 10 points of health, red HP, but just not enough. How much more breathing room that would have led over to the OG side can only be something you think about. 4 rounds, the difference to try and get it into OT, and Heroic are looking to go flawless on this streak.
Yabby and sjuush peeking in. Fiku caught first. Follow up from Texas as well, and this is a confident lockout. The rifles, the M4s winning every single fight they find. Neo frag next up to the chopping block, found by Yabby. Degster, a 1-on-5. He has been lights out in this map, but this even is a clutch too much for him. 16-11 for Heroic. This will be their map going their way.
7 rounds in a row to continue that streak, to continue the dominant affair. What a showing this has been towards the tail of the second half, and how much this must mean from Heroic to get started. To be in an uncomfortable position where OG have even got a lead to bounce back with that style of game.
Especially when they had struggles on it a little bit earlier on in the day. Inferno picked up by Heroic on their map pick can be forgiven for OG, because at the end of the day, they fought a very close and hard-fought battle, which could still be turned around on maps 2 and 3. Let's see what they can do after the break.